Washington Township High School second-year head football coach Mike Schatzman admittedly learned a lot in his rookie campaign a year ago. WTTV recently sat down with him to discuss that incredible learning curve and how it will translate on the field with his 2019 squad. Energy, enthusiasm, and expectations are high.
I think the biggest thing is just how much there is besides football. I think you have an idea of it going in, and I don't think you apply for a job like this, without any idea of the administrative aspect of it. But when you're dealing with 120 players and 200 plus parents and 25 coaches, there's a lot of people that you have to take control of or organize. And I think that was the biggest thing for me as a first-year guy, is just understanding the day-to-day operation. I learned something new. People say I learn something new every day. I learn something new probably every minute. And I think this year it's a totally different ballgame as far as what we took from last year as a start. And we didn't get started until March last year, so we were already behind the 8-ball with our off-season program. We didn't have a full year of our strength program, which is a big thing this year that changed. So, lining up all the ducks in order and making sure that everyone's where they're supposed to be. I think that was the biggest adjustment. But I think I have a great staff around me that's kind of helped out with the whole administrative process. I've delegated a lot of responsibilities to different guys, which helped me alleviate a lot of stress. When you're trying to first year, your head's spinning, and you're trying to do a million different things, and it's tough. But this year, it's again year 1 to year 2 it's almost like it's a new world. A lot more comfortable, a lot more organized, know what to expect. Because there's just things that you don't know that are going to happen. They happen, and you don't think about it until it actually does occur. So we're prepared for that now this year, going into year 2. But last year was definitely a learning curve, I think, for everybody, not only for me, but for our players and for our coaches. I had high expectations going in. I think anybody who wants to build a program has to have high expectations. But grand scheme of things, no one really else had high expectations for us. So for me, I think it was a lot less stressful as far as, hey, this is a new slate. You're building a foundation. You want to try to build it, and our big motto is brick by brick. We're trying to set the foundation. Last year we did that. We were a playoff team, which was exciting. We beat Hamilton on homecoming, the last game of the year, to kind of push our way in, and that was one of our goals. We just wanted to get in. We drew Williamstown, who was undefeated last year. It was a really successful program, but it gave our young guys and inexperienced guys an opportunity to see a playoff atmosphere, see what it takes to play against a championship-type caliber team, and then go from there. So everything was a learning experience for all of us, but we only had 11 seniors graduate. We had only 4 starters out of those 11 seniors. So we have a lot of guys back, and we have a lot of guys back for the next 2 years, which is really exciting. So I think the expectations, for me, we always have high standards here. I played here, it was high expectations. We were expected to win the championship every year. When I first started coaching here, it was the same expectation. So I don't want to ever lose that. We've struggled, wins and loss record-wise, but last year was definitely a solid foundation, and being a playoff team, I think, really kind of catapulted us into the off-season and gave our kids a little bit of confidence going in, knowing, hey, we're back. Some of us are back for 2 years. We can really build something special here in the next couple of years. It's high school football. You get 4 years with these guys, so you always get a new crew. And Coach Brown's motto was, we don't rebuild, we reload. And I think we want to get back to that. We had a really talented freshman class last year that are sophomores now. They were undefeated. Our junior class was undefeated as freshmen, and they had one loss team at the junior varsity level, and a lot of those guys played at the varsity level, especially towards the end of the year. So, our motto right now is, hey, we're just trying to get better each day, control what we control, and then our schedule's difficult. It's not an easy schedule. So, if we control what we control, we're going to be successful and have success towards the end of the year. And that's what we're looking to play our best football is November. Every week is tough. So there's nobody on our schedule that you can circle and say, all right, we got a pretty good shot to win this game. We play a lot of athletic teams, the Violins, the Easterns, Holy Spirit, which, all these teams last year, the teams that we lost to last year were all playoff teams. We lost to Williamstown twice, who was a championship team. Violin was in the semifinals. They lost to Williamstown in the semis. Holy Spirit was in the non-public B championship game. Eastern was in the semis. So there's a lot of growing there, and it was a great indicator of where we're at and where we want to be. Hey, this is the competition. This is what we need to get to in order to be that type of team. So again, last year was a great indicator, and this year we have the same schedule. We added Cherokee, which we're excited about. You come to Township, you want to play Cherokee. That's kind of been embedded since the mid '90s. So we're excited about having Cherokee, especially here at the home opener. So I think for us, the first half of the schedule is extremely important to get off to a good start. Last year we were 2-2, which I think helped us to give us a little confidence. And we hit a 3-game span where we got Williamstown, Vineland, and Holy Spirit, and we were all on the road last year, and it's tough. And this year we have that same schedule, but we feel the first 5 games, if we're competitive in those games and we come out with some W's, I think that's going to give us a slight edge in those games. But we were competitive in everything last year. We were competitive at least for a half of football. Some teams kind of poured it on towards the second half. So we got to be a better 4-quarter team. But we were competitive in a lot of games and with a lot of young guys. So it was good to see. I think we're pretty even keeled. I think offensively we're going to be a little bit more dynamic. We have all 4 of our receivers back, which is huge for us. We have a competition at quarterback, Danny DeAngelis, who's a senior, and Lane Friel, who's a junior. Both do some things really well, and both do things that they need to improve on. So the preseason will kind of tell them where we go in that direction, but both are very capable to be varsity quarterbacks. So that's exciting to have 2 guys that are, have the ability to run the offense and run it well. We have Andrew Nasilli back at running back, along with Joe Dathan Silver, who was a freshman last year. He'll be a sophomore. He's very dynamic, somebody that we haven't had here in a while. He's going to be starting for us on defense as well. So offensively, with the offensive line, we have Jack Don, Sal Pooley is back, Mike LaRose is back. So we have 3 out of our 5 guys that are back on the offensive line, and we have guys that are really competing for the next 2 spots. But there's about 10 guys that are going to be fighting for a spot this preseason that we're excited about. So offensively, we have a lot back and a lot of experience, and a lot of these guys we're going to have for another 2-3 years, which we're really excited about. And then defensively, same deal. We were young last year defensively. Louis Griggs is back. He was started as a sophomore as a linebacker for us, and he had tore his ACL towards the end of his sophomore year. Last year, it just took him a while to get back into the swing of things, and towards the end of the year, he probably ended up being our best defensive player. And was probably going to be an all-South Jersey player as a sophomore, so he's fully healthy. He's really bought into our weight room program. Having him back at linebacker is going to be key for us. And I think, again, the consistency, the terminology, and doing the same things we did last year, obviously making some adjustments, but seeing what fits, seeing what guys can do and what guys can't do, and playing towards our strengths and trying to eliminate the other team's strengths is going to be important. But I think both sides of the ball have really shown a lot. I think right now we're a little ahead defensively, which most teams are at this point. Offensively usually takes a little bit more time, but we're right there. I think one guy that stands out is Jack Don, who's played left tackle for us for the last 2 years. He also played defense last year. Jack's a 3-sport athlete, 1490 SAT, 4.0 GPA. He's a high academic kid. He's receiving a lot of interest from Ivy League and Patriot League and Johns Hopkins and top-notch schools across the country. And I think he's the name that sticks out for what we have coming back. He's a big boy, 6'2", 280 pounds, but he does all the right things, and he's really the model of what we're looking for in our program. He's nearly perfect. We call him Mr. Perfect because he seems to not do anything wrong, and he's genuine. He's humble. He doesn't talk about himself. Guys are attracted to him because he just does the right things. And I think Jack is the one guy that sticks out for us offensively, at least. Being going to be a 3-year starter. Like I said, Jaden Allen's another kid who was a sophomore last year, started for us on both sides of the ball. So he's back at receiver and defensive end. Zach Andrews is another kid who was an all-conference defensive end for us last year. He's another really smart kid, 1440 SAT, 4.0. He's also getting some interest from those Ivy League and Patriot League schools. Bryce Kramer's a kid who transferred last year from St. Joe Hamilton. He had to sit the first 4 games, but when he came back, he was one of our better players as a sophomore. So he's back on both sides of the ball. Andrew Nasilli had about 700 yards rushing last year in 7 games. So he was, a catapult for us. And like I said, I think the quarterback situation is unique because both guys can both handle the offense. Both guys can be very successful. So it's a matter of them, outworking one another, and they have a great relationship, which makes it a lot easier for us. It's a great competition. But like I said, at one point or another, one guy might be playing one half, the other guy might be playing the next, and we're comfortable with both, which is exciting. And like I said, there's some young guys that we're really excited about. Joe Nathan Silver's going to carry the ball for us. He's also starting on defense. Jermaine Cisco is a kid who's another guy who's going to carry the ball for us. Billy Homan, who's injured right now. He hurt his foot playing summer basketball, which we weren't excited about. But, he's going to be a kid who's another two-way starter for us last year as a sophomore. So there's a lot of young junior players mixed in with seniors. Brendan Leone is a kid who started for us on both sides. So we have a lot of guys who are back that we're excited about, going forward. Danny DeAngelis is going to be a senior for us. He transferred last year back from Gloucester Catholic, where he was a 2-year quarterback for them as a freshman and sophomore. We're excited to have him back. He had to sit the first 4 games due to the transfer rule. So, he got off to a start last year that, you don't want to ever sit 4 games. He's a very good teammate. He's very athletic. He came to us very raw, but he has all the skills. He has a strong arm. Something that he needs to improve is his decision making. He tries to throw balls into tight windows because he has that arm strength and that skill set, but sometimes it's the wrong decision. And he knows that, and it's something that he's really worked on all summer long with Coach McKillop, who's our quarterback coach. Liam Friel came to us as a freshman. He was an offensive lineman his whole life, leading up to freshman year. I was a freshman coach, their freshman year, so we had no quarterback. So we did old school, hey, how many guys can throw a football? And, Liam raised his hand, and he's this big, tall kid. He's 6'4". He's a basketball player. I was like, all right, give it a shot. And, he threw a nice ball. I'm like, hey, you're a quarterback. And he always wanted to play quarterback, but he was always too big at the youth level to really have an opportunity to do it. So, his freshman year, he kind of took it and ran with it. And very coachable. He's a sponge. He learns very fast. He has a great personality. Kids really, look to him. He's quiet. And that's something that we want him to improve on. As a quarterback, the first quality you need is leadership. And he's a leader, but he needs to be more vocal. And he knows that. It's great for us as coaches because you don't hear anything from him. But we want him to command the huddle. He's tough. He's a hard-nosed kid. Both guys are very tough, physical. Danny's going to play a lot of linebacker for us. So both guys, like I said, they're both raw in a way, but they're both very coachable. It's a great competition. Danny's more of a runner than Liam is. Liam's more of a natural passer, accurate passer. So again, like I said, it's a tough decision that we're going to have to make. But going into week 0 against Cherokee, it's up for grabs right now. It's really 50-50 split. They split every rep in practice. They're going to split every rep in the scrimmage. And, whoever outperforms, one is going to end up being the quarterback. We have a leadership council that we put together that's made up of 14 guys. It's 6 seniors, 6 juniors, and 2 sophomores. So the leadership council is, they basically run the locker room. I think, there's a famous quote that says, if bad teams, no one leads, average teams, the coaches lead, and great teams, the players lead. And we've really tried to adapt that and have the players, it comes from me all the time. The players want to hear from players. So we have a leadership council that, is pretty much our captains of our team, but we mix it up with different grade levels because it gives guys an opportunity to, the sophomore guys can lead those sophomore players. And, what we try to create here is a standard of, hey, that's not what we do here, that's what we do here. And I think it's really paid off this offseason. We started that in the winter with guys that are in our weight room, and they've taken control of that responsibility, that role, and they take it serious. And I think it eliminates the whole process. So we've had the players vote on the leadership council, and we've asked them different questions. It wasn't just like, who do you feel? It's not like a popularity contest. Who do you trust? Who do you have the best relationship with? Who's going to hold each other? Who's going to hold their teammates accountable? So we surveyed the kids, and we took it serious, and they took it serious. A lot of them spent 15, 20 minutes kind of thinking about guys, and it was surprising to see some of the guys that they looked up to. So, there's obvious players that are going to be in that role, but there was guys that stood out that made me excited because maybe they weren't in that role last year, or they didn't have that leadership ability that they've taken the step forward. So it's worked out really well for us thus far. But yeah, we'll have our leadership council: Jack Don, Zach Andrews, Brendan Leone, Mike LaRosa, Louis Griggs, and Billy Pomerica are 6 senior guys that took that role, and they were great off season. They're all good students. They all do the right thing, and that's what we're looking for. Our junior, Dylan Sharkey, Bryce Kramer, Jaden Allen, Liam Friel, Sal Puglia, Hunter Reese. And the 2 sophomores are Santino Misi and Jonathan Silver. Again, 2 kids that are, high academic kids that, attract people in our program that will do a good job. So, yeah, we've adapted that this year. We're excited about the whole council. I meet with them once a week just to get, an idea of what's going on in the locker room, what are guys saying. I get feedback from them, how we feel today, how's our legs feel, different things that, we need to work on. It comes from the players, and I think that's important. I think I had that as a player, that type of responsibility, a relationship with the coach. Hey, we're dead right now, we're tired, and I'm not going to get a lot out of them if they're like that. So, we can dumb it down a little bit, but like I said, it's a player-driven locker room, which I don't have to worry about it. They all do the right things. It's spotless in there. They clean up. They all have roles and responsibilities. So, that's something that we want. It's a standard. They had expectations as far as academically. You needed to have a 3.0. So all the kids that we have in here are above a 3.0 grade point average. You needed to be, attend a certain amount of percentage of our workouts. All those kids are near perfect attendance. You needed to do community service hours. So we'll have community service for the team, but we also have community service for our militia, our council, which is just them coming down with me. It's a little bit smaller group. We go down to the youth field. We interact with the young kids. We've had our youth camp this summer with our middle school kids and our elementary school kids. So they all work that. So it's just an opportunity for them to get, showcase themselves and get out, and then spread the word about the whole, militia. And these are guys that are leaders in our program, not only in our program, in our school. So I think that's going to play a huge role for us, during the course of the school year, because these are the guys that do all the right things. And these are the guys that can help when, I got 120 guys. These guys can help monitor things along with the other coaches. But it's been really beneficial thus far. It's, they've done team building stuff. We had our night at Bells Lake that they kind of orchestrated and put together. So they've been really good about it. And that's something that we'll do. As long as I'm here, we're going to do that because it means a lot. I talked about we're going to have a board. Ohio State, a guy from North Texas got this from Ohio State. He has a board, and he lists his leadership council, and they go in their locker room every year. So he has 2018 leadership council, and he lists the guys. So you're on there forever. So that's something that we want to orchestrate this year. Is hey, this is the 2019 guys, and they're on the board. And I think it just means that much more when somebody sees that. They look back on it 20 years from now and say, hey, that is my name. I was a leader in the program. So anything like that, we've tried to really, orchestrate, rewarding kids that do the right things. I think the biggest adjustment for us is we've gone from a wing T team, which was run dominant. We rarely passed the ball. And then times have changed. Football's changed. The rules have changed. And then we started out in a spread offense where we were kind of mixed up, balanced. Now we're very. We want to be physical. We want to know our alignment, our assignment. We want to be very disciplined. I think when we've had our most success here, it's not that we had the better athletes. We were very disciplined. We were very organized. We were outworking teams. We were stronger than a lot of teams. So that's our mindset. I think on both sides of the ball is, our big thing is energy, effort, enthusiasm. If you give those 3 things, all right, your skills, they'll play itself out. So I think for us, everybody wants to emulate, the high-scoring offenses, but I don't think we'll ever be that team that's going to put up 60 points per game, and we don't have to be. But we want to be very efficient. We want to be very tough on defense. very sound. We want to eliminate, again, those teams' strengths, and exploit we don't want them to exploit our weaknesses. We want to build towards our strengths. And again, the kids that we have, the demographic that we have in our town, we're built for tough, hard-nosed, kids that are physical. So we've built our offense and defense around that, where we utilize, both the pass and the run, but we're going to be physical in whatever we do. Defensively, we run a 4-2-5 defense, which is very common now with a lot of the spread offensive looks. We add another player that's a defensive back, a little bit more athletic to our group. So, speed is a big thing for us, and it's something that we lacked last year. We'll be faster this year. So again, our thing is making sure we're aligned right, we know our assignment, and then we execute those two things. And if that happens, we're going to be successful. Offense, defense, special teams. Coach D'Imperio has done a great job of orchestrating a lot of things that he did at Rutgers, especially with their special teams. Something that we can utilize at the high school level. That's simple. It allows our kids to play and not have to think. So again, we've dumbed down a lot of things to get the most out of our guys, so they're not thinking or they're not afraid to make a mistake. They're confident in what they're doing, and that's all three phases: offense, defense, special teams. Our defensive coordinator is Jesse Cooper. He was with us last year. He's back this year. He's obviously a township alum, graduated in 2005. Jesse's, again, it was a learning curve for all of us. He was a first-year coordinator last year. This offseason, we spent a lot more time communicating. We've spent a lot of time in the spring meeting, developing practice plans, organizing what we're going to do defensively. Jesse's done a great job for us this year in camp. It's definitely it's a new field. Like I said, for me, I learned something new every day. Jesse learned a lot. Bo McKillop, who was our freshman offensive coordinator last year, he was at Woodbury for 10 years previous. He's also a Washington Township grad. He's taking over the offense. He's aggressive. He's very good with the players. He's a teacher in the Woodbury district. And, it's good to see him. The difference is, he takes shots, he takes chances. And, he sees what guys do well, and he tries to cater to that. So, offensively, I think we're going to be much improved from last year with a lot of guys back. Ryan D'Imperio is back this year for us. He was a 2006 grad. Obviously played Rutgers in the NFL. He's going to be working with our special teams. He's done a great job. Also with the kids. He's very energetic, provides a different kind of feel, and kids look up to him, just based on his name and the level he's played at and who he's coached by, which goes a long way. And he's not all great players are good coaches. He's going to be a very good coach for us. Nicky Fiorentino's back for us. Anthony Sheridan. Matt DeFranco, Rob Egan, all these guys are all kind of tied into our program. Ron Kachase is back as our freshman coach. He did a great job last year with our freshmen. He's in the building, which really helps me and alleviates a lot of stress administratively for our freshman group. So we're really excited. Dan Hearn, who's our strength and conditioning guy, he's also in the building. Did a tremendous job this off-season running our weight room. So I think our staff is very solidified. But we worked. We're a younger staff. We're energetic. But I think we worked a lot this year on just the communication aspect, making sure we're all on the same page. Like I said, last year we got off to a late start, and it hurt down the road. So this having a full off season to meet, talk, discuss what works, what we have coming back is going to be really beneficial. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited about our staff, and they're excited, and the kids are excited. I think the first time really, a lot of them had a consistent staff and same terminology and doing the same things and knowing how practice works. And the guys that I think really adapted to that and adjusted to consistency, knowing what to expect and what we have to do. Yeah, we go through Sports Paradise, local company. They're based out of Medford, Willingboro area. We've been dealing with them for a little over probably 10 years now, 15 years, probably close to 15 years. We used to be a Nike dealer, Nike rep. Now we moved over to Under Armour. Nike went to the NFL, so they got a little bit big for their bridges and don't really deal with a whole lot of high schools anymore. So we utilize Under Armour now. These are our new game red jerseys that we got last year. So we got red, white, and blue jerseys. Our whites are our home jerseys. Blue's kind of our alternate jersey that we we utilize on special occasions. And that's something, again, I let the leadership council decide, hey, what do you want to wear on Friday night? And, they have the opportunity to do that. New helmets, we're Rydell rep, so Under Armour and Rydell. So all of our equipment, shoulder pads, helmets, girdles, knee pads, they all come from Rydell, which is a local rep, a guy by the name of Dan O'Connor. Rydell's based out of Ohio, but they have reps all across the country, obviously. This year is the first year with the new white helmet, 3 stripes. This dates back. This is the first original color scheme and logo. So we wanted to bring that back, switch things up a little bit. Coach Brown brought the blue helmet and the township, the traditional TWP logo. I feel like it was Coach Brown, and that was, Coach Brown's thing. So again, when we got the helmets switched up, I made one call to Miss Brown and told her about it, and she basically told me, I didn't even like the helmets anyway, I like your helmets. So she was on board with it, so we went and made the switch. Pride is always the word. You take pride in everything that we do. Like I said, whether it's in the school, in the community, whether it's in the locker room, cleaning up the weight room, on the field, you take pride in being at Washington Township football. I think it's special. I think when people ask where you come from, I think when you say township, I think the majority of people know exactly what you're talking about, and there's a lot of pride in that. That you carry with you for the rest of your life. I think that's important. There's a lot of loyalty. There's a lot of people who leave and come back. There's a lot of people who never leave. And my family is a prime example of that. Pretty much born and raised here, went to school here, lived here for their whole life, and I plan to do the same. It's a great place to be. But again, you take pride in being from here and being a part of our program, especially.